Hello and a warm welcome to Federal's special program Capital Beat. After Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar drew flak over his threat to IPS officer Anjana Krishna in a video that went viral, his party MLC Amol Mitkari has raised questions over her selection through the Union Public Service Commission. Now, in a letter which was written on Friday to the UPSC secretary, Mitkari asked for scrutiny and verification of her educational qualifications, caste certificate, and other documents. And this is what exactly he wrote in the letter. And I'm going to quote that investigation is needed to ensure proper scrutiny of official records because doubts are raised over Ms Anjana Krishna's selection in UPSC. The commission should carry out an in-depth probe at its level and verify the facts and the reality. He also spoke to the media and he drew a parallel between Anjana Krishna and the controversial former IS trainee officer Pooja Khedkar, whose documents were obtained fraudulently. The UPSC should carry out the probe and bring out the truth in the public domain. Now, what does Mitkari's letter really indicate? Is it not intimidating Anjana Krishna in a way? And what would be the repercussion, be the conclusion of this entire case? And what really happens to the future of Anjana Krishna, and what is the kind of lesson we learn as far as the IPS Association is concerned, which is totally and totally silent. We don't see many officers speaking except for one or two people who are really talking hard on this particular issue. Joining me this evening is former IPS officer, security expert, and former intelligence officer Yashovardhan Azad. Mr. Azad, thank you so much for joining. We have retired IPS officer Amitabh Thakur. Thank you so much, Amitabh ji, for joining. We have Vivek Deshpande, a political commentator and senior journalist. Thank you so much, Vivek, for joining. And I'll begin with Yashovardhan Azad. Mr. Azad, is this not intimidating Anjana Krishna? And another question which is very worrisome is that the entire IPS association is quiet over it. Not many people are speaking. In fact, you have spoken. I saw your tweet. I saw your Facebook post. Likewise, I think Mr. Amitabh Thakur also has spoken. But you can count on your fingertips the number of officers who are speaking on this issue. Yes.
Yes, I agree. I mean, the problem is that the IPS Association comprises of the IPS officers who are still in service, and they are somehow extremely afraid to bring up even real issues. For example, in this particular case, I'm sure the IPS Association can bring it to the knowledge of the Home Minister in what a brazen manner the Deputy Chief Minister has spoken to the IPS officer, and that also for interfering with a rightful duty when she's has gone for busting up some illegal mining racket in the district. But unfortunately, yes, you're right that the IPS Association has not been able to achieve anything much. Maybe I think the IPS Association should be manned by retired officers because maybe they'll be able to speak more. But you're right, even this particular case, to support this youngster, this little girl, I would say, because she's hardly 2 years in service, her bravery, the way she has stood up. There are very few people standing up, whether it's from the media. You're one of the rare ones, and I'm grateful that you've taken up this issue. But Neelu, why I have raised this issue very prominently in the social media also, because this is not just an issue for an IPS officer. This is an issue for the whole democracy. It's an issue of corruption, which is corroding our system. It's an issue of unbridled power. It's an issue of giving illegal orders. It's going beyond law. It's hurting the entire credentials that we stand for. And that's why the sooner we put an end to this, the sooner it is better. And I would say for a normal person to threaten like this, to interfere in a rightful duty indulged in by a cop or any officer, there should be a case registered against him. And this is exactly what should be done. The law should follow its own course, and this man should resign. This man has gone out of his limits to do something. These things used to happen earlier But to do it in such a brazen manner on a mobile where everyone can listen and do this to a youngster who's raw, who's young, I think it should not be unforgivable. And that's why I've appealed to the Prime Minister, to the Home Minister, and to the Chief Minister that immediately this question should be taken up on the highest priority.
Mr. Azad, what would you really say about this letter written to the UPSC secretary by Mr. Amol Mitkari, who's saying that let's probe the documents of Anjana Krishna? Now, what is this business? I mean, is it intimidating her? Is it now, is there a move to now trap her further, to stymie her efforts further so that, she goes completely silent? What is this kind of a move? How would you describe this?
This is killing the messenger. That anybody who's doing the rightful job try and break his credentials or her credentials. Try to put diversionary tactics by doing an inquiry against him. I mean, she's already been through the UPSC. She's already been allotted a cadre. She's already come out qualified. Yes, but of course, you have a right to inquire into anything. So basically, it's a diversionary tactics, and I hope the UPSC clears that also. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. For that matter, even the apology given by Mr. Pawar is a little, roundabout one. It's not a straight apology to the officers, saying that I apologize for using that language and I take back, and I am for attack against illegal mining, and you should go ahead and do it. That would have been a real apology. So this is a roundabout way, and his supporters are, of course, talking a lot of things. And even when I was on a channel, some of them were saying that, the full facts are not known. So, yes, I understand the supporters will carry on their kind of a blanket wall creating around the area so that the whole issue is, confused.
One last question to you, Mr. Azad, before I let you go, because I know you're in a hurry. What should, according to you, and you are a decorated officer, if I were to ask you, what are you going to ask Mr. Ajit Pawar, Prime Minister Modi, and also, for that matter, even Amit Shah, under whose purview all these police personnel come, and there is no word from either the Prime Minister, either the Home Minister, either Devendra Fadnavis, who happens to be the Chief Minister. What would you really ask them?
Well, first I would ask the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, who's heading the Home Department, who manages the cadre of the IPS officers, to take care of IPS officers who are upholding law. The IPS officers report to law. They don't report. They are not servant of the government. They're the servant of the people. They're supposed to report to people, the constitution and the people. Therefore, if they're doing the rightful job, nobody can interfere with them. So the Chief Minister should have a word with the Deputy Chief Minister about this, that you have no business to interfere in their work. Number two, Mr. Amit Shah is the Home Minister, and he's in charge of all the IPS cadre, because it's an interstate cadre. I mean, it's an all India cadre. And that is the purpose of All India Service cadre, that a girl from Kerala is serving in Maharashtra. And look at how bravely she's talking in Hindi. She's standing up. She's talking very politely and yet very firm. That is why there's a great Sardar Patel had this vision of All India Service to unite India into one. And you are breaking the virtual frame, so-called frame of the bureaucracy, by giving wrong orders. After all, these young IPS officers, when they come into service, they are taken to meet Rashtrapati ji. They are taken to meet all that. What kind of lesson are you giving to them? That you go and carry on this, following the legal orders given by these politicians? And I would appeal to the Prime Minister that ultimately he is the head of the nation, and the whole nation is watching him. The entire country will go in his support if he sacks that Deputy Chief Minister or asks him to resign. Because how can you forget even about talking to an officer in any manner? The most important thing, that here is a man who is talking, I'm not saying colluding, but he's interfering in the rightful duty of a police officer who's gone to who's going to attack the illegal mining? If the politicians today in somehow collude in loot of the resources by stopping the police officers, what kind of democracy are we having? We are corroding our democracy. And therefore, I think it's very important that the message goes to them. That's why it's my fervent plea that the nation should take this issue up, because it's a question of ultimately survival of our democracy.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Mr. Azad, for joining. You have to rush for some place. Thank you very much for joining on the Federal. And now I'll come to Vivek and Mr. Amitabh Thakur. Vivek, I'll come to you now first and then come to Mr. Thakur. And let me just inform the viewers that this incident took place on Thursday evening when Krishna, serving as a sub-divisional police officer, visited the Kurdu village in Solapur following the complaints of illegal excavation of murrum. Now, murrum is a material which is used in the road construction. And the video shows the local NCP leader, Baba Jagtap, calling Ajit Pawar and handing the phone to Krishna. Now, during the call, Anjana Krishna told the caller she could not confirm if she was speaking to the Deputy Chief Minister and asked to be contacted directly on her official number. And what she exactly says, I can understand what you're saying, but I'm unable to figure out if I'm talking to the Deputy Chief Minister. Can you please call me at my number directly? This is what she said. And Pawar reportedly got angered by her response and later made a video call to Krishna and instructed her to stop the action against the soil excavation. Now, Krishna said that she had not realized she was speaking to Pawar, and he then asked if she could recognize him by face. And what exactly did Pawar say? And I'm quoting, I will take action against you. I'm talking to you and you're asking me to call you directly. You want to see me? Take my number and make a WhatsApp call. How dare you? Now, Vivek, this mentality of how dare you and this whole business of this murrum excavation in Solapur, there are two things here. One is that the law is being broken, the law is not being adhered to. And if you have an honest and upright officer, then you dare that officer. What are the big takeaways from this story according to you? And also as it plays out in that particular area of Solapur?
It's not just about the area of Solapur. If you know how the business of murum or sand excavation is going on, then you would know that it's almost like every district has a set of politicians who have divided this largest among themselves. I mean, there would be leaders from NCP, there would be leaders from Shiv Sena, from BJP, from all parties who have their sand ghats and their murum excavation sites divided among themselves, and they would loot this no end. I mean, this is a very standard practice, and I am sure this must be going on in other states as well. So this is not a problem restricted to Solapur. Politicians do have a lot of stake in sand and murum mining, and it goes on illegally without any obstruction whatsoever everywhere. So, but there are big takeaways that you see how corruption has percolated down to the lowest level. Now, here is some Chutbaiya leader from that area uh, who who had the gumption to directly call the deputy chief minister. I mean, he must have had instruction, and all those people at the lowest rank must have had instructions that whenever you encounter any problem, you can directly call me. So he had the gumption to call the deputy chief minister, who took the phone, who took the call. He must, deputy chief minister is a very busy man, but he took the call in the midst of all his business. And the deputy chief minister, instead of praising this lady IPS officer for doing her duty, is actually scolding her. And Mr. Ajit Pawar is known to be a very dabang leader. I mean, it's not the first time. It's first time that he has been caught on a video. But generally, people know Mr. Ajit Pawar as a leader who would speak very roughly with bureaucrats and officials. I mean, they are all afraid of him. They generally don't argue or debate with him on anything, and he has this habit of talking very tough with officers. So the thing is, if if this is the kind of corruption that is going on at the lowest level, from lowest to the topmost level, why is the deputy chief minister intervening in this? Does he have some stakes there? I mean, we see in films how this hafta business goes on from the lowest rank to the topmost politician. So is he a beneficiary of that? People tend to believe such stories which they watch in films, and they are not far. I mean, what happens on the ground is not far different from what is shown in the films. So and on top of it, his aides like Amol Mitkari, who has been a controversial politician himself, uh, he had the gumption to write to the UPSC, and check the credentials of this woman. I mean, come on, his credentials must be checked. But now it seems that he has backtracked on it. I read somewhere that he has backtracked and said that he apologizes or something like that. But that's not something which can actually redeem what has happened. Now, this whole business of sand and murum mining uh, has to be taken away from politicians. It has to be freed from the clutches of the politicians. But who would do that? Because it is the politicians who are ruling the roost everywhere. Now, even if there is some act of assembly or act of parliament checking this, but then they will operate it through their cronies. So this problem will go on, and this will go on in an illegal way. Fine. I mean, if a politician has some stakes in Reti Ghat business or some murum excavation business, fine. But if this is going on illegally, uh, and it was going on illegally at this village, it is very clear, because if there was nothing illegal about it, those people who were doing it would have shown this lady, IPS officer, their credentials. They would have proved that this is illegal. But the fact that they had to call the deputy chief minister, no less a person than deputy chief minister, to put pressure on her, clearly shows that it was going on in an illegal manner. So, Mr. Ajit Pawar, instead of telling those people that you can't do that. I mean, if you have some right papers in your hand, show her that, and then nothing will happen to you. Instead of telling them, giving them some words of wisdom, the deputy chief minister
Vivek, what I
chose
don't
to.
understand, when this
Yeah.
incident happened, this video went viral, then Ajit Pawar gave a clarification that no, I didn't want to interfere in whatever was being done at the spot. I respect women, and that is the kind of statement he made. And now, next day, his own MLC, Amol Mitkari, he writes a letter to UPSC saying that let's probe Anjana Krishna's documents. Now, what is that? Ajit Pawar says something else, and his MLC does something else. So, what are they actually planning for Anjana Krishna?
I don't see, and nothing will happen to Anjana Krishna now that this issue has become such a big issue. But the prime minister himself has chosen the deputy chief minister. Well, 5 days after the prime minister in an election rally 2-3 years ago said that Ajit Pawar is a man of 70,000 crore scam. Now, naming him in a 70,000 crore irrigation scam in Maharashtra, after naming him as the prime mover behind that scam, the prime minister who declares, "I'm na khaunga na khane dunga," he chooses him to be his uh, ministry's deputy chief minister, and gives him the keys of the finance ministry. Now, what can you expect the central government, all leaders like Modi and Shah, to do in this case? I think they would strongly back Ajit Pawar only. And of course, they will not be able to do anything against this lady because now the public opinion has galvanized in her favor. So they will have to keep quiet and let the things die down with no further discussions going on in the government about this. But as of now, I think this has flagged a very important issue of illegal sand and murum mining, not just murum, sand and illegal murum mining, where politicians are generally the culprits. Everywhere they have been exploiting this natural resource, no end, without any action being taken against them or their cronies. That's not possible because they are at the helm of affairs themselves. So I think uh, it's a subject which is restricted only to this episode. And once this episode dies down, once this episode stops, being discussed in the media or in public, it will be the same thing all over again. And they will resume their business as usual. Nilu.
I'll come to Mr. Amitabh Thakur, who's joined us back. Mr. Thakur, how do you really see this incident, and what can really happen to Anjana Krishna? Do you think that they can intimidate her further? They can stop her promotions, and any kind of progress she makes, will it be stymied just because she has dared the deputy chief minister?
See, from whatever experience I have, in totality, possibly what I heard Mr. Vivek say was that things will go back again to the usual manner. Possibly that was the sum of what he said. I think whatever happened was not exactly something which Mr. Ajit Pawar would like to take it to his heart, because it was a very run of a mill affair, one that just happened. And in my opinion, all the players would like to forget it. And obviously, the young IPS officer also doesn't have much, I would say, much option than to forget it, because the matter is like that. Summing it up, what I feel is that it was something which happened. The good thing about it was that it happened, and even more important was that all it came in public, so that whatever is happening in the area came actually for one and all to know. All these big leaders, they call themselves big leaders, Mr. Pawar, Mr. this, Mr. that. Many a times they are indulging in such a very, if you can say, wicked activities or improper activities or illegal activities, but they always call themselves white collar people, and they call of morality, they call of greatness. Even in the apology or the tweet or the post, whatever way we take it, Mr. Ajit Pawar wrote. He said that he is against illegal mining. He is for the rights of women. He respects women. Everything that is good sounding. But the fact remains that many of these leaders actually indulge in illegalities, corruption, improprieties, and crime. These incidents only brought forth those issues that they generally do not go recorded. So for me, the most important aspect of this incident is that it
No,
brought a.
Mr. Thakur, do you think that this is the normal convention that all those officers who dare the powers that be, they meet the same fate? I mean, either they are intimidated, either their progress is stymied, their promotions are stopped, and it looks very unconventional. Though that officer, Anjana Krishna, is trying to do her job, what she should be doing on the ground as an honest, upright officer. But just because the politicians are involved in a thing like Murrum mining, and she dares the deputy chief minister, so she has to face the flak. Thanks to the social media that this video has gone viral, so maybe that could be a face saver now for her.
I certainly agree with you that anyone who proves to be inconvenient to a person who is indulging in such corrupt activities and is powerful as well is bound to have his or her own repercussions. Gujarat is an example where I would say not less than half a dozen or maybe a dozen IPS officers either resigned or had to leave their jobs or are even languishing in jails for years. So definitely someone who says, I will not tolerate this, I will not allow this, I will not allow your illegality, has to bear the bruise, has to suffer the price. The price varies from place to place, position to position, and also from circumstance to circumstance. In the particular given case, I personally feel that whatever price this young lady had to pay, she has already paid. The letter written to UPSC in all certainty will end in ignominy, because I don't think that whatever is written there has any meaning or fact in it, and it is more of a, I mean, showing his followers that look here what we have done to the officer, and it is like a veiled threat and nothing more. In case I must add, in case the young lady has not actually committed something wrong, which I don't find to be happening that way. So otherwise, this letter seems to be meaningless. The episode seems to be a one-time affair. But yes, Definitely, if the lady is adamant and if something happens again, then certainly she will have to face the price. Summing it up, what I will say is that honesty does have a price in bureaucracy, and there can be no two opinion about it. It is a truth that we must all know and understand. What Mr. Azad said, very good points he presented. But what something which he seems to have omitted is that this is not the first incidence, and it is not that the IAS or the IPS association or the officers are now some. I mean, they are not what um, our Patel thought them to be. What he envisaged was a very different story, and even at this time, or at the time when Mr. Azad joined, or at the time when we served, the quality of IAS and IPS officers has deteriorated a lot. I mean, and this girl seems to be an exception. The general rules seem to be what we have been seeing in the election commission. We have all the election commissioners who belong to almost the same generation as Mr. Azad, and we are seeing what they are doing. So, summing it up, what Mr. Azad said about something new happening, I completely disagree with it. It is not that some new bombshell has taken place. This has been happening for a long time, and many IAS and many IPS officers are themselves responsible for that. Often it is their own interest which is the guiding principle.
All right. All right. Okay, so I'll come for the concluding comments to Vivek that there is one side of how this illegal mining was conducted, and an honest, upright officer like Anjana Krishna tried to stop it. But then, because the matter was related to the deputy chief minister and the kind of influence he had, he managed to, outweigh this whole thing. Now, what are the biggest takeaways? And also about how this entire IPS association has been silent. Mr. Azad also spoke about it. But what does it really show? 3, 4 days before, Prime Minister Modi was saying that, my mother has been humiliated and people have abused my mother. Amit Shah doesn't say anything. The NDA goes on a Bihar Bandh and they feel so humiliated. And here there is an upright officer, a woman IPS officer who's been humiliated in this manner, and there is complete silence about it.
Nilu, I think the Prime Minister's words ring hollow because what had happened on the streets of Delhi to those women wrestlers of India who had brought laurels to the country, they were literally dragged on the road by police. So this has never happened anywhere in India before and in the world. There is no other example to show a similar uh, contempt which has been dealt out to women. Now, what is happening in Manipur? What happened in Manipur 2 years ago is also well known. As Prime Minister has not yet visited Manipur. So, as far as women's dignity is concerned, I think the Prime Minister has very little to show on record that he really wants to protect women's dignity or something like that. In this case, this lady is very brave, and I believe the implications of this could be twofold. This lady will go on like this through her entire career, or maybe she might quit if things get very difficult, because they will get difficult in future once you get in conflict with politicians, particularly of the ruling parties. Then it's very difficult to survive in today's atmosphere. So maybe she has to fight it out till the end, and I don't know if she has the courage and perseverance to do that till the end of her career, or she will have to fall in line. So that is what we see also in films, how some officers are very, very principled in the beginning of their career and then they slowly give away. So what happens to her at a subsequent stage, I don't know, but I don't think UPSC will take any action against her because it will send a very wrong signal. And Mr. Ajit Pawar will be wary of doing any such thing in future. He will be too cautious because the social media these days is so powerful. And what Mr. Thakur has said is correct. I mean, this kind of things have been going on in the past for years together. This has been going on, and they will continue to happen in future as well. This
Right.
instance has come to light because of social media and because somebody took a video of this I'm not sure if someone who has taken the video will also face the wrath of the politicians. I think they will certainly. And this culture has become so dominant and so common today. A few days ago, there was an audio of a BJP MLA called Satam. I'm forgetting his first name, which had become viral, where he is abusing some officer uh, in a very bad language. I mean, he was giving all sorts of abuses which we cannot pronounce here. And that video, that audio had become viral a few days ago. It was just last week only. So this culture of abusing officials and abusing people who come in your way of corruption has become so virulent that there seems to be literally no end to it in near future. And Mr. Modi, after giving all that promise of the khaunga, the khane dunga, seems to have actually promoted people who are doing it. So there's little hope that this will end in the near future. Yes, Nilu.
Right. Thanks to the social media, which is why there's so much of rage. But yes, not many people talking, especially the IPS Association, and which is why there is a rage on the social media as to why the IPS officers, the serving IPS officers, are quiet about it. Why is Prime Minister Modi not saying anything? Why is Amit Shah not saying anything? Why is Devendra Fadnavis not saying anything? So it goes to show a lot of things as to how things on the ground are. But I hope nothing happens to Anjana Krishna and she continues as an upright officer and she continues to get her promotions as well. But we'll have to end it here. Thank you so much, Mr. Amitabh Thakur, Vivek Deshpande, for joining on The Federal. Thank you.